is a weird and spooky object that we've found in space. We know they exist. And what it essentially is an object that has collapsed under the force of gravity to the point where it is a point of infinite density. So a huge mass in a very, very, very small volume. And so these objects are so gravitationally strong that even light cannot escape from their surface, which is why we call it a black hole, because even a light beam that would try to escape from this black hole wouldn't be able to. And so when you're looking at it in space, it would just appear black. It would not emit any light of its own. Because black holes are black, that is, they don't emit any light, we can't directly see a black hole because it's not emitting light of its own. But we can detect black holes indirectly, and we've done that in a few instances. We've detected a few black holes in our galaxy and also in other galaxies very, very, very far away. One of the black holes we've detected is Cygnus X1, which is a smaller black hole that is in a system with another star, and material is falling off of that star onto the black hole. And as it approaches, it starts spinning faster and faster around the black hole and emitting its own light. Because it's traveling so fast, it emits a very energetic type of light called X-rays. And so we've been able to observe the X-rays emitted by a black hole in this way. We've also been able to observe the black hole at the center of our galaxy, which is called Sagittarius A star. And this black hole is so massive that there are in fact stars that are in orbit around this black hole. And so observing it over the course of many, many years, you can see these stars that are just orbiting around this empty point in space. And from that, we can infer that there has to be something that's very massive there, but that emits next to no light. And we now know that that thing is a supermassive black hole. There are two types of black holes that we've observed. One type is called stellar mass black holes, which are black holes that are about the size of our sun, or just a little bit bigger, and there are also supermassive black holes. We find these stellar mass black holes sort of interspersed throughout the galaxy. Anywhere where you would find stars distributed, you'd find these stellar mass black holes. The other type of black hole is a supermassive black hole, and those can be millions to billions of times the mass of our sun. And those you find at the very center of galaxies. So for example, the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way, our galaxy, it's a supermassive black hole that's about 4 million times the mass of our sun. So this huge, 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 very, very massive object at the very center of our galaxy. And we think that every galaxy has some sort of supermassive black hole at its center. The biggest nearby black hole, that is the one that's the closest to us in relative terms, is in fact the supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy. We call it Sagittarius A star, and it's about 4 million times the mass of our sun. And since it's at the center of our galaxy, it's about 27,000 light years away. So it's maybe the closest big black hole to us, but it's still very, very far away. There are lots of very, very massive black holes in the universe that we've observed. One of these is the one black hole that we've actually been able to directly image, which is called M87, or M87 star, because it's the supermassive black hole in the galaxy, Messier 87. And that black hole is about 6 or 7 billion times the mass of our sun. So it's very, very large. In fact, it's about 1,000 times larger than the supermassive black hole at the center of our own galaxy. and it's very, very far away, millions of light years away. But the largest black hole we've ever observed is in fact one that is even farther away, about 10 billion light years away. So extremely far, almost as far as we can actually observe. And this is a supermassive black hole at the center of something called a quasar, which is a very, very young galaxy. And this black hole we think is about 66 billion times the mass of our sun. So it's very, very huge. And the name of this supermassive black hole is the supermassive black hole that is located in the quasar Ton 618, which is very, very far away and very, very, very massive, the biggest we've ever seen. I actually first became interested in black holes when I was in high school, when I went on a school trip and we went to the local university, and the physics profs there told us all about black holes, and I just thought they were the coolest objects ever. And then eventually that inspired me to go on and do an undergrad degree in physics, and eventually go on to do my PhD in astrophysics, where I studied the ripples in space-time that come from two black holes that are spiraling around each other, and we call those ripples in space-time gravitational waves. So I've had a lifelong interest in these weird and spooky objects we like to call black holes.